What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the DX9-Mini Vasili, or their version of a Legend Scale Double Dealer. So I got this from Matt Partsformer. Thanks for allowing me to take a look at this figure. And this one's a pretty interesting thing because it's made by DX9, who back in the day was making Legends. They're one of the first companies to make Legends. And then they kind of disappeared from the game, from Masterpiece and Legends. And word was that they had a company that spun off from them was New Age Toys. And early on in New Age, they were showing figures from DX9 with their new figures. So it was kind of like, you know, they sort of gave it away that they came from DX9. And then this figure is co-produced with Magic Square Toys, which is very strange because you would think if DX9 was related to New Age, they wouldn't want to do something with Magic Square. Anyways, it doesn't really make sense, but here we are with DX9 making a new figure after years of being out of the game. And it does feel like Magic Square plastic in some of the design as well. But let's take a look at him. He does have some paint on him. He got some gray and then blue for the eyes. Actually, the gray I think is just plastic color. Some blue paint and some red paint here. Light blue here, same as the eyes. Red paint here, which we'll see more in the vehicle mode. A little bit of yellow here in the wheel well. Here's the back. Relatively clean for a triple changer overall. Let's take a look at the articulation. Head is on a ball joint. It gets all the way back to there, down to there. You do get side to side and a rotation all the way around. Arms can rotate around on a friction joint out to the side on a hinge. Rotation at the bicep. Double jointed elbow gets you the full bend. You have a rotation at the wrist. You have a waist rotation. There is an ab crunch. This is actually pretty hard to release. It's tabbed in here, so I had it, pre-released. But you have to untab this, and then you can get ab crunch basically all the way down. It's part of the transformation, so it just kind of worked out for them. Get that plug so you can see how firmly that plugs in. It's actually kind of a pain. I do recommend if you have trouble getting out at the beginning, use a little bit of heat or use a spudger and get it in there and pop that out. Continuing down, we have hip skirts here. You do have to move these out of the way. It's one of those where those get in the way of the outward movement. So you have to open this up a little and then you can get it to the side. It goes up to there. To the front with the hip skirt moves with it. And then back, pretty much nothing back. Rotation at the thigh, rotation at the knee. You have a single jointed knee gets you 90 degrees. At the foot, which I messed up here, you have an ankle tilt. It's more like a toe tilt, if anything. And up and down on that toe. Now, as far as accessories, let's start with the Power Masters because he's kind of naked without it. But you have this one here, done in red and gray. If I could get it to focus. Just has a simple transformation, just fold the legs out. But here's the back. And to put them on, you just fold them up. And there's a little peg right here on his chest. And just plug it in. And there you go. It does kind of lock him from rotating his waist, which I can't even remember if I showed, so I'm going to show it now. So it rotates without it, but as soon as you put the Power Master there, it kind of limits him. So you have to kind of decide if you need that for your posing. Here's the other one for his Decepticon side. Purple and brown, and on the back you got some black and gray. The bat. You can fold that up. Obviously these don't transform, but you can plug that in here. I guess folding the legs is transforming, but there you go. You can do that one as well. Personal preference, I prefer this one just because it's less bulky, but you can do that. And we're going to set this one aside, but you can also come to the back here. There's a little peg right here, so if you want to store it, you can store either of them on that little peg. Just for keeping it with him. You also get this gun, and you're going to take this piece here, a little slot right there that's going to fit on this peg. And then you can fold this up and you can have that shoulder cannon, which is nice. And you get this piece, turns into a gun. You fold down this handle and that will fit into his hand and make his blaster. So that's a nice use of the missile overall, which obviously we're going to combine together for the vehicle mode. It's, smart use. And for a quick size comparison, there it is next to the New Age Optimus Prime. You can see he comes in a bit taller. He's a pretty tall figure here, for at least for Legend scale anyway. Here they are head to head. Alright, now let's get Vasili transformed into his vehicle mode. And we'll start by removing the gun. And we can fold this handle in and then recombine the gun, and that's ready to go. Set that aside. Go ahead and unplug the Power Masters if you have them plugged in. They're not going to be used or not attached in the vehicle mode. We'll start with the arms. Lift these up, fold down the hand, fold in the hand, fold that up, and then accordion this back so it sits like that. Bring this up and out to the side like this. Same on this one. All right, then we'll work on the upper body. Go ahead and unplug these two chest pieces. Are tabbed in right here. Go to the backpack, open up this. Here's the wings. They feel very flimsy, so I just don't love the way they feel. And by the way, before we get this fully transformed, if you wanted to, you could have him with the wings spread out like this in robot mode. So you could do that. I don't know if anybody want to do that, but you can have him with the wings in robot mode. And I think you can actually get the head swung around as well. Let's see if we can do that. We have to do this anyway for transformation. Go ahead and flip this center piece all the way around. I'm going to rotate the head, rotate up this black panel, bring this down. We have to undo the waist ab crunch here. I recommend a spudger. At least on my copy, it's too tight to remove by hand, so get a spudger in there and pop that open. And then lift that up all the way. And that'll allow you to bring this all the way down. And we can bring out this bird head just to show you that you can do the Birdman thing if you want to, but I'm going to skip that mode. So anyway, bring the head down, leave the bird head in for this vehicle mode. These two tabs should be facing upwards as well. We have to fold these panels in, and then we can plug that head back in, and now that's ready. Before we can fold these wings back, we have to take care of these arms. So lift this panel up, the arms slide back on a slider, and then rotate to the front. It's kind of a tricky thing. You only do it when the wings are up like this, otherwise it doesn't work. Right, now we can put the wings away. We're not going to be using them in this mode. So fold this one down first. You want this armature on the other side like this. And then the same for this one. Bring that back in. We can fold all that up. And then we can close the backpack back down on top of those wings. I really hate the feel of the wings. They just feel very cheap. And we'll start on the legs. So I'm going to do one leg and I'm going to do the other one off camera. But go ahead and come to the back here. We're going to unplug this from here. You can unplug this entire thing and rotate that outwards. We can take this panel here. That's going to rotate this way. Then we're going to take the foot. That's going to come down and out to the side. Allow you to take this whole panel and bring this around past the foot. Bring the foot back over and into here. And that's just going to store under there, and then bring this back up. Come to the side, you're going to rotate this panel 180 degrees, and then tab this into, there's a puzzle piece tab there. And then we're going to take this piece here, that's going to rotate up. And that's that side done. All right, then we're going to take care of this leg. So let's see, go ahead and fold the leg around, and then bring this panel down. And this is going to come into here. I had this folded incorrectly. This is going to come in like this, and that's going to make the front of the vehicle, obviously. And get that all tabbed in. So it should look like this. And then on the back here, there's 2 slots and 2 tabs. So you can bring this back and get that tabbed in. And for the arm, we're going to take this. There is a tab slot right here and a tab right there. So it rotates to the front, bring the arm down, and get that plugged in right there. And it can be a little tricky lining it up, but that should plug in there. And then this panel comes up and covers up right there. Alright, so go ahead and do the exact same thing on the other side. Alright, once you have the legs and arms configured, you do want to tab this together. There's 2 tabs that hold together the legs. Give that a push. It does tab together firmly. Then you're going to take the missile. There's a slot right here, and the tab that's underneath the head, and yes, the head faces upwards. You have to get that in there. It's a pretty tight fit. It's hard to see because you're kind of doing it in the blind, but you're going to get that on there. That's just going to sit like that. All right, and there is Vasili in his vehicle mode, and not too bad looking. You got some nice yellow paint here for the headlights, red paint here for the cockpit, yellow on the wheels. Here's the back. You got a little bit of red paint here, a little bit of unfinished area up here, but overall for legend scale, it's pretty darn good. Here's the back. It does roll on those wheels. You can sort of store the headmasters. It's not an official spot. This is sort of my own unofficial, but if you take the bat one and you plug it in right here, it happens to fit perfectly. So I'm not sure if this is official or not, but it does stay. It fits perfectly in there, and it kind of stays in there. So I feel like maybe it was intentional, but that does go there. And then you can take the other one, and that will go right here into that spot. And then put the missile back on, and those guys can ride along. And for a quick size comparison, there is next to the New Age Optimus trailer and roller. Nice size vehicle mode, fits in well with the legend scale. Alright, now let's get him into his bird mode, which is my least favorite mode. Go ahead and unplug the missile. Just set that aside. You can take out the Power Masters again and just set those aside. Those are not going to fit or be used in the bird mode, although there's a place to kind of plug them in. But all right, now we'll get started. I really don't enjoy this transformation, but go ahead and you can unpeg the arms from here. We're going to undo this leg section, so basically unplug it, and we're going to bring this up into the side like this. We can fold this panel back down over the wheel, open up this claw bit all the way up, and this is going to rotate around, and we're going to take the bird head, that's going to come out. We'll take the other head, that's going to go in, hold into there. These legs, just leave them up for now, because we'll take care of that in a minute. Oops. So same on this side, fold this out, fold it up, fold out the bird foot, and make sure this comes back down and covers the wheel. And we'll come to in here, fold out this foot piece. This is on a slider, so you're going to slide that foot out on the slider. And this one, fold that foot out, and then slide the foot on the slider. Right. This is going to come back in on both sides. And we're going to rotate this around so the wheel's on the inside. Right. We can take this foot here, and this, I always get a little lost, but there's a slot right here that has to make a way onto the peg right there. So that's how you're going to orient yourself. So, there we go. All right, so you should have something like that. And by the way, you have to rotate this foot around because that's going to end up like this. All right, so same on this side. All right, now we've got both of the legs configured. We can take care of the arms and the upper body. So we are going to take these arms, and actually we'll open up this panel here, get the wings out. And you can just fold those out and out of the way. And you can close this back up. And we're going to accordion this, get the arms out of the way. We're going to accordion this down, and these two tabs are going to go into here. So bring this all the way down. Again, get the wings out of the way. And that's going to fit in like that. Bring this down, that's going to tab in and kind of lock the bottom part together. All right. We'll open these up later because they're just going to get in the way. The arms, we're going to bring these panels in. You can bring the bird head up and out of the way. These arms are going to open up right here. Oops. And this is one of the issues with this transformation is these ball joints like to pop out. But you want to open it up right here on this joint. And sometimes you end up opening it there. But that joint right there, open this up, slide it up. And you slide that back down. Bring this back down. There is a puzzle piece here that's fitting together. So get that attached. Like so. There we go. So you want this at an angle, and then you can get this plugged into there. All right, so it should look like that. So I'll get the other side done off camera. I'll be right back. All right, now that we got the arms configured there, yeah, those are kind of a pain. We can get the wings out. So fold this back, fold these out, and they're just friction. They don't lock into place. There's no like click point or anything like that. And you can get these up. All right, and there's Vasili in his bird mode. And most triple changers have a weak mode. This happens to the weak one for this figure. It does look pretty nice. It's got some nice yellow paint and red paint for the eyes. But it just has a hard time standing. You know, trying to get it posed and balanced on these feet is a little bit difficult. Also, the wings are very fiddly. They don't lock into place. Like, there's nothing to keep this from moving on you, and it just tends to get in the way. But overall, I do think it's a good looking bird mode. It's just not fun. You can take the missile here, and this will plug in right here. So you can slide it forward. See, there's two grooves right there. Slide this forward on those grooves, and that'll plug in right there. And I can fly around with that missile, which is pretty nice. You can take the Power Masters here and plug them into the side of the backpack for storage purposes. Again, not official, but if you want to, you can do that. And quick comparison, there it is next to the New Age Optimus trailer. About the same size as the vehicle mode. Obviously the wingspan makes it wider, but there you go. So final recommendations on the DX9-Mini Vasili. I'm going to give this a 4 to 5. I'm going to recommend it. I think this is a really good robot mode and vehicle mode. I think where the weakness is probably the bird mode. It just is not as stable as the other two modes, but typically in a triple changer there's always one weaker mode. I do like the gun and that becomes the missile. That's just smartly done. I also like the look of the Power Masters, but they don't really work if you want to articulate his waist rotation, you can't put them in there. So that's a little oversight on their part. But other than those things, I think it's a pretty good figure. Now, this is interesting. Again, I mentioned this is a collaboration with Magic Square. So does it mean that DX9 is going to do more figures, or is this just Magic Square is going to put out some figures? You know, it's really hard to tell where this is going. You know, DX9 made some really good Legends class figures in the beginning. Specifically, their Dinobots were pretty good, and they had some others. So I don't know what this means. I hope it means DX9 is back in the game. That's a company that's sorely missed in the third-party arena. But that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Matt Partsformer for allowing me to take a look at this, and we'll see you next time.